Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the tranquil side of Florida. This is Real Estate Matters, the voice of real estate for Flagler County and Palm Coast for over 12 years, or nearly 12 years, next month. I'm Toby Tobin. I'm the publisher of GoToby.com. It's a news website, real estate news website. I'm a Florida licensed realtor with Grand Living Realty, and I'm joined today by guest Frank Whalen. He's the heads up East Coast Building Corporation, and he's president of the Flagler Home Builders Association. Anna Maria Long, who's also with the association, my normal co-host, is busy doing other duties today, so Frank is filling in. He's got a wealth of knowledge. He's been in the industry since before he was born. So we're going to talk about the industry today, but I'll give you a quick update on how this month is going. We're recording this on the 21st. You'll be listening first on the 23rd. So these numbers are current as of about noon today. 154 single-family homes. These are Flagler County residences, and they're sold through the Flagler MLS system. So that's my constant source of information. But 154 homes sold so far month to date. The median price is $369,000. 52 days on market. Last year, for the entire month, 245 homes were sold with a median price of $365,000. So we're pretty much on track to equal last year. One important difference: the days on market this year so far, this month so far, 52 days on market, and that compares to 64 for the entire month a year ago. So that's a good sign. When days on market starts coming down, it means there's just more activity, more churn in the market. So the trends are continuing. Most of the action is at the one end of the spectrum or the other. It's either the under $250,000 homes that are selling quickly, lower days on market, and that market is pretty much dominated generally by people who are buying homes to fix and flip or buying homes to put into a rental market. So it's more likely to be an investor market. There's typically quite a few cash sales at that end of the market. At the $1 million plus market, very similar things are happening with the numbers, but for an entirely different reason. The people that are buying $1 million plus homes don't care about the mortgage interest rate, so because they're largely paying cash. In fact, I think there's 6 or 7 $1 million plus home sales so far this month, and all but 2 of them are cash. So that's a trend that's continuing. A couple of other trends: prices remain relatively stable. Inventory is down. Pending sales are up. Building permits are down. So all of these naysayers about the real estate community and how bad developers and realtors are just smoking something, but they're not reading the numbers or listening to the facts. The Gindex, which is the ratio between listed homes and pending homes, is 2.81. That's versus 4.03 a year ago. And that when that index goes down below 3, it's a sign of a strengthening or already strong market. It means demand is higher. I'm working on an article. Hopefully I'll have it up on the website by the time you all hear this show on Saturday. But I'm working on some numbers looking at the month of April compared to April last year, and we'll talk about that today. But what I also did is comparing the first 4 months of last year to the first 4 months of this year, because we're a relatively small market. I mean, we think we're big. Palm Coast, by the way, just a piece of trivia, is the largest city in the 4-county area. It's larger than St. Augustine. It's larger than Daytona Beach. It's larger than Deltona. It's larger than DeLand. So in our region, It's the most populous, but that fact is little known or seldom appreciated. So April 2025 to April 2026, we went from 255 homes last year to 280 this year. That's a 9.8% change. The median price was 370, dropped to 354. That's a 4% change. Dollars per square foot, which is really, sometimes the median price changes simply because the mix of product changes. If you have, it doesn't mean the price of your home went down or the value of your home went down. It could just simply mean that there were more homes sold at the lower end of the market this period than whatever period you're comparing with. So I like to look at dollars per square foot, and dollars per square foot, it's 196.67 to 196.04. It's a 0.3 change. So prices probably are more stable than they even seem to be. But I've got a twist on that later in the show, too. Now, looking at the 250K market and below and the $1 million plus, again, they're stronger. The total sales volume was up 9.9%. That's also an important number, just as dollars per square foot, because, Frank, you get paid on the dollar value of the, I mean, your measure of sales is what was your dollar sales for your last year, not what was your average price home or your average price job. It was your total sales and then, of course, profit.
Exactly right.
So what's your, well, first of all, let's let you introduce yourself, your company, just very briefly, because everybody thinks, when they think builders and developers, they think D.R. Horton, they think ICI Homes, Seagate Homes, but there's a whole industry out there of people who are many members of the association who are not developers or builders. They're associate members like myself. But then even within the builder community, I mean, you're a general contractor. You do commercial, you do residential, and you do a lot of rehab or...
We do. Yes, since 1995. We started as a framing contractor. Then we did framing and siding, and we progressed to a shell contractor, which is the total building envelope, dry type package, bring your trades in when we leave.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that up until 2015, 2016. And after that, we just strictly general contract now, commercial, residential, a ton of remodeling.
Mm-hmm.
Presently, we're doing some restoring a 125-year-old building down on Beach Street. We have a couple of custom homes in the process. Been incorporated since 1995.
Mm-hmm. So general contractor means what? Because our listeners may not understand what the vernacular of the trade.
Okay, so as a general contractor with a state-certified general contractor's license, CGC, that is the highest license that the DBPR offers in the construction industry. So as a general contractor, I could build a high-rise in Miami, or I could build a single-family residence.
Mm-hmm.
There are other classifications of licensure that only allow you to build up to a single-family home or a 3-story commercial building. Those are CRCs and CBCs.
And is there a level of supervision that you're able to provide over subcontractors that people who don't have a general contractor license are unable to do?
Well, as a general contractor, we ultimately are responsible for the entire job.
Mm-hmm.
So our supervision, regardless of what does happen, it all falls back to the general contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So you really need to have your ducks in a row here.
Mm-hmm. And of course you're familiar with high-rise construction methods and materials and standards as well as remodeling all the way up and down the chain.
Well, just going back a little further, at the age of 12, which most people wouldn't believe today, but at the age of 12, I was on an asphalt paving crew helping pre-stripe before the asphalt actually got laid. I was the coffee boy and did all of those things during my school years. And right immediately after high school, I joined the Carpenters Union in New York City. My first project was the 59th Street Bridge. I was on that rebuilding of the upper roadway for 2 years. And then I went to high-rise construction right after that, and up until 1993 when I left, I was in Manhattan working on a high-rise as a crew foreman, as a carpenter first, then a crew foreman, then a general foreman, and then I relocated.
You've come up the ladder. So looking at, we generally focus on the residential side of the market, and generally single-family homes. We talk about condos sometimes. Once in a while we'll mention duplexes and townhomes, multifamilies, but we don't talk about commercial a lot. What is your sense? I think I have a good feel for the state of the residential market, but the commercial market, what's your sense of? I mean, there's some major commercial projects underway right now. Particularly, we just drove by one coming here today at the corner of Belterre and State Road 100 or Moody Boulevard. There's a big commercial area going in there.
On the south side.
Yeah, the southwest corner.
Yes, sir.
It's big. It dramatically changes the view as you come up to that intersection because that used to be wooded.
Yeah, well, since I've been here, a lot of woods have gone.
Yeah. Well, but the woods come back. They're renewable. The first house I had when I first moved here in January 2000, so that's 26 years ago, in Grand Haven, and it looked like a big sand lot.
Yes.
All the trees were gone, and now you walk down that street that I lived on, you can barely see the sun. I mean, the oak trees are canopied over the road. It's beautiful.
It sure is.
But if you look at like the property appraiser's website or Google Earth, where you get an overview of the city, you look and it's mostly green. And if you drive over the toll bridge and look west, you don't see, you're very unique for a city our size. You don't see high-rise buildings. You can see the water tower in the distance, a couple cell phone towers, but mostly you're looking at a huge area of canopy trees with over 110,000 people living beneath them.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's a beautiful place to live, and we have taken care of the greenery and let the maturity happen.
Yeah. Well, don't go away, folks. We have to take a very short break. We'll be right back. Well, everybody, welcome back to Real Estate Matters, second half. Thanks for staying with us. Since Anna Maria Long's not here today, she couldn't be here to remind me to mention our sponsors at the beginning of the show, but I do want to talk about them. Our lead sponsor is Veranda Bay, which is a private developing community on a mile of Intercoastal Waterway on John Anderson Boulevard with a Flagler Beach address. Beautiful homes in there, all custom builders, Arthur Ruttenberg, ICI, Holbert Homes, Toll Brothers, Dream Finders, and Olson Homes. If you want to find more about that beautiful community, go to their website. It's verandabay.com. We're also sponsored by the Home Builders Association and Hamlet Community Church, where you can find me Sunday mornings at the 11 o'clock service. A little church in the woods on A1A, just about a mile and a quarter, mile and a half north of the toll bridge. So having said that, we can get back to our topic. We're talking about the market. My guest today is Frank Whalen. He's the president of the Flagler Home Builders Association. He's a general contractor whose company works on remodeling, single-family homes, custom homes, as well as commercial. So he's soup to nuts. And I was asking him, and he didn't get a chance before break to complete his answer, but I was asking him what his sense of the commercial side of the market is here, because real estate is both commercial and residential. You need both. They have to be balanced, and they have to, if you're trying to attract commerce or commercial industries or retail, whatever, they all have target markets, and you have to be in their target market. And that kind of explains why we don't have a Costco. We're a beautiful community, but we're not as upscale as Nocatee and some of the communities down in Ormond, towards the Ormond direction. So we end up attracting commercial industries that we have a labor force for. If you're in retail, or if you're a restaurant, you're going to look at your demographics. One of the big things coming into town is the cable landing station in Town Center. That people have no clue how important that is to our area. That's going to really bring in some well-paying jobs. Not that business itself, but the businesses that will move here because that is here already. So, where do you think we're headed commercially, Frank? Do you think we're under commercialized? We don't have enough commercial property paying property taxes. We need to right that balance. Are we headed in the right direction?
I believe it's where it needs to be. As a resident of Flagler County for many years now, I don't, and this is my own personal opinion, I don't want to see a high rise. I don't want to see complete commercialization of an area, but I think Town Center is a great start.
Mm-hmm.
That promenade building is going to be fabulous when open. I think it's going to attract a lot of attention.
Yes, I agree.
I think Town Center was the perfect place for what it's intended for. Not that it's out of sight, out of mind, but it is located where I think it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
State Road 100, I would like to see with a little more upscale, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Strip Plaza is the Strip Plaza. There's just so much that could be said for that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to have something nice on 100.
But our signage rules and setback rules are stricter than most communities, and so that sort of mitigates the downside of strip plazas.
Yes. I mean, the apartment complex that's happening east of Colbert on 100. I mean, I think that was designed very well. Set back off 100 quite a bit with all the landscape in front. Same with the apartment complexes and the subdivisions on Roberts Road that go north of 100 that tie into Colbert. Those were really well designed, conceptual to completion.
Yeah, I think we're doing a much better job than we're given credit for.
I believe that to be the answer.
The one of the things this article that I'm working on talks about is the bifurcated market. And I mentioned earlier in the show that I don't usually talk too much about the condominium market, because if you're not in South Florida, the condominium market's a small factor in any of the other local markets. Like there's not much of a condo market in Jacksonville, for instance. For some reason or other, Northeast Florida has always had fewer condos than the rest of Florida. But if you look at the median price for condominiums, it's a number. And you say the median price for condominiums sold in April, or say for the first 4 months this year, a certain number, and I'll pull it up in a minute. But it's really a meaningless number, because it's kind of an average. It's like being in the having your feet in the fire on one end and a cold room or a freezer on the other end. The middle doesn't matter. We have about a little bit more than half of the condo sales in the first part of this year were in what I call beachside. but they represent about 75% of the total dollar value. And if you look at that market, it's totally different than the condo market west of the river.
Okay.
And the same could be said of the residential home market too, although it's easier to count condos when it's fewer than 100 in 4 months sold. It's hard to count 1,000 homes and find them on the map and figure out where they all are. What are the challenges that you're facing in the industry? I've talked to several builders and developers, and for some they feel they're being very negatively impacted by the mortgage interest rates. Some are being negatively impacted by a shortage of skilled tradespeople. Others impacted by supply chain issues. How are those issues affecting you, which is the most critical?
Well, I would say yes to all of those, but the underlying factor is land availability, which a lot of people don't consider. Yes, you can go into any of these subdivisions, D.R. Horton, Dreamfinders, and there's dozens of them.
Mm-hmm.
But for someone who doesn't want to be in an HOA community or a gated community, the land is becoming a problem that's available to build on without severely impacting the cost to build. For instance, there are still several hundred lots that are considered drop lots.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole topic of another conversation. That could take an entire day to explain.
Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't be done.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll take you a year to permit, and the costs associated with developing that lot.
But these are parcels that when people talk about we've got X number of Palm Coast lots left that are vacant, some of them are unbuildable.
Almost unbuildable,
Yeah.
unless you put the engineering effort in behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So is the juice worth the squeeze?
Mm-hmm.
As far as the supply chain and the skilled labor market, those are all real challenges. Nothing like it was during COVID, though. During COVID, that was, let's just use the term unprecedented,
Mm-hmm.
where not many people realize how involved the world really is in making products today.
Mm-hmm.
So for the plywood that they make in Canada, that's all fine and dandy. But when the gum glue comes from the Philippines and they can't get any more gum glue to laminate the sheets, you're out of plywood in a hurry.
Yeah, the supply chain breaks down. And with a global economy, I read a very interesting book, and I've passed it around to several friends about 3 years ago. It's entitled "The End of the World is Just the Beginning," and it basically talks about the whole concept of globalism is going to ultimately break down, and we're going to all become more and more regionalized. So a lot of the things that our country's doing now, bringing manufacturing back, are the right things
It's very
to be
important.
doing. And this book actually forecasts that. So we got 2 minutes left. You got any final thoughts on? People really want to know the two things that are affecting the market right now. Neither of them are local origination. It isn't anything that the city council or the county has done or the planning board has done or not done or the building community has done or not done. It's mortgage interest rates, which we don't control, and then just uncertainty. And that's globally geopolitical stuff that we don't have any control over that either. But what's your sense if those things went away? Are we looking at a pretty strong demand underneath things we can't see right now?
Well, personally, I try to live my life with those obstacles that you said that are weighing heavy on people's minds. I try to not let them bother me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can look past that, yes, mortgage interest rates are high right now, but not as high as they were 20 years ago.
No, I've had a 13% mortgage adjustable rate that got up to 17%.
That's what my dad said. He was paying 17%. Imagine a 17% mortgage today on a house, $500,000.
Yeah.
So those things I try to, I don't want to say sweep under the carpet, but absorb.
But do you sense the underlying? I'm very positive
Oh, yes.
myself on what's. I think there's a very strong upwelling of demand. If those interest rates were, and I don't, it doesn't have to go back down to 2.5%. It could just go to 5.5%,
Sure.
and wake a lot of people up.
Sure.
I think. And the global thing is what it is, but there's an awful lot of demand for what we've got here. We've got a beautiful place.
We have a beautiful state
Yeah.
with a lot of opportunity.
Mhm.
If you choose to come to this state, there's more than enough room for you.
Mhm.
And I think it is a very positive mark. That's what's happening here. We could be in a different place in a heartbeat, but I don't believe that to be the case.
So, folks, if you're thinking of buying or selling any property, or your friends or family are, I've got an offer for you. I've been in town here doing this for 20 some years. I know where the bodies are buried. I know who the good realtors are, and developers and builders the same. So how would you like to have that knowledge in your back pocket without having to pay for it? If you give me a call first, I'll steer you to a quality realtor who will work together. So I'll stay in your back pocket through the transaction. It won't cost you anything because the realtor pays for it, or the builder. And we'll introduce you to the right people and increase the chances of you having a fruitful outcome. So if you want to see video podcasts of visit gotoby.com, click on podcasts, and up in the top navigation bar, all of our past videos are there. There's also a great map. It's the map of all of the residential developments and subdivisions in Flagler County, over 170 pins in that map, and that gets updated basically daily. So save the link, share it with your friends. Come back next week. We look forward to seeing you. I'm Toby Tobin, and I approve this show. Frank, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for the invite, Toby.